So this is Zach Norton. He's my stepdad. He's 45, and I chose to interview him because he came from a different portion of Kentucky than I did. Uh, so I got a couple questions for you today.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about your family's roots in Kentucky and how long they've lived here? If you know.
As long as I can remember, we've lived here.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of family in Winchester, Danville. It's the main two areas, but we're all central Kentucky, with some relatives on my dad's side in eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of spread out through.
Mm-hmm.
What was your life like growing up in Kentucky?
Allergy season's rough. A lot of country music.
Mm-hmm.
A simpler lifestyle, small towns. Especially when I was younger, there wasn't a whole lot anywhere. It felt like going to McDonald's was a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's life was different.
How has the area kind of changed over the years?
It never stops growing. All the small town businesses go away slowly but surely. Every now and then they'll get replaced. 3 will go away and 1 will pop up in its place. But homes are constantly built. Apartments are constantly built. Yeah, it's the biggest changes.
All right. Did your family work in any agriculture or farming?
Yes, my great-grandfather owned a tobacco farm here in Winchester.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's how he always made his living and did pretty well at it back then. But that's about the only one that I've known to do any farming off the top of my head.
You know if that changed how he did it over the years, or was it kind of the same process?
How he did it, not necessarily because he was old school one.
Yeah.
But the tobacco industry has changed in general because it's harder to make money on it nowadays. So most folks are out unless you have a huge farm and a government contract.
That leads us into our next question on the tobacco industry and how that shaped where you grew up and how that shaped your family, if it did at all.
I don't have a doubt that it shaped my family, maybe not me necessarily, but I'm sure it was a big part of my mom growing up. Because you got to remember, I'm 2 generations removed by the time I'm around. Say the question one more time. What else about it?
How it shaped your community, the tobacco industry.
I don't really know. I don't have a definitive answer there because I was really young when my great-grandfather had a tobacco farm. I'm sure tobacco was responsible for a lot of things getting started in this state because it was the number 1 cash crop at one point.
Mm-hmm. How was your school experience in Kentucky? She grew up here, so should be an experience.
It was simple, fun. It was just simple. It felt like.
Was there like a lot of notable events or challenges while you were in school that you had to face?
Challenges. I do remember school shutting down in the middle of the day for O.J. Simpson running from the police when I was in high school. And then also for his trial.
So that for his trial?
That was the day they read the verdict. So that was a big day. And then, what was the other big one? Oh, the L.A. riots.
Okay.
I remember seeing all that in school. It was probably social studies, but it probably could have been in class, to be honest.
The Challenger blew up.
I don't even remember that.
You don't? I remember.
I'm sure if the Challenger blowing up was on TV, we probably watched it, but I don't recall that. If we did.
Did Do you know any stories about coal mining affecting your local community at all? I don't know if you grew up in that area.
Well, the family down in Hazard know all about
Yeah.
the coal mines. You hear a lot of stories about black lung and how hard it is. They make a really good living for what they do and for their area, but it's very dangerous, and the risk probably outweighs the reward, from what I gather.
What do you think is important for younger generations to understand about Kentucky's history?
That bourbon and tobacco or bourbon and horses will always be number one when it comes to our history. Tobacco probably should have been mentioned, but it's kind of went to the wayside.
Yeah.
Coal mining, depending on where you're at, would also be an important part of Kentucky's history. If you're in the eastern part of Kentucky, that's a huge deal. And then Kentucky sports is king, right? Basketball especially.
What would be some advice you'd give to the younger generation, just based off your experiences?
That you don't have to go to college to make a decent living, and that sometimes for the debt you have to incur in order to go to college may outweigh the wages that you make in the foreseeable future when you graduate, and it's the risk versus reward factor again to figure out.
A lot of life is.
But I think in general, if you work hard,
Yeah.
you'll be okay, one way or another.
That was our last question of this interview.